of Sashes&Scripts. And today, instead of doing a full live stream regarding the Binibining Pilipinas National Costume Show, kinakailangan nating daanan ito at pasakalihan yung current na issue. It just happened an hour ago. Somebody posted, an artist posted something on his Facebook regarding not getting paid for his work for Miss Universe Philippines. Now, I know we have a lot to discuss for this evening. Nakasulat na sa aking notebook lahat ng mga i-discuss natin, and everything is written down here. So, in order for us to have a very smooth na discussion, I will first go and talk about the current issue, and then we'll be talking about the more focused na discussion on the Binibining Pilipinas na Binibining Pilipinas na National Costume Show. We will be talking about the girls that, for me, shown in the national costume and the evening gown segments of that event, as well as several other girls na gave a little bit of good impression on us doon sa event na nangyari doon sa New Frontier Theater. So, but again, as I said before we go and jump into that, pag-usapan muna natin yung recent development. It was just posted like around 56 minutes ago, just with an hour ago, regarding the trophy maker, Jeff Albea, who posted in his Facebook account a very lengthy na post regarding not getting paid by the MUPH na organization. Okay? So here is the statement that he posted on his Facebook page. He said that, "I did not get paid. Miss Universe vanished in thin air. They refused to pay me for the trophies I designed and crafted for the coronation night. All the effort, dedication, and passion I put in creating these pieces ended up ignored and disregarded when payment was due. I do not need or will accept a single centavo from the organization anymore. What I need now is for them to learn that artists deserve respect. We pour our hearts and souls into our creations. Our ideas don't just appear from thin air just to work for an X deal. They are the result of intense thought, deep emotions, and sleepless nights. Not to mention opportunities missed, money, and years spent honing our craft. I fiercely advocate for my fellow artists with unwavering passion. Not all artists can take and afford this mistreatment. Please, do not let our work be taken for granted." Now, let us discuss this first, because this is what I have been saying about fans and some, to a certain degree, some MUPH apologists about the Miss Universe, about the Binibining Pilipinas, calling it out as a dying na brand, dying na pageant. Because if it is a dying brand or a dying pageant, you haven't heard about suppliers, about collaborators, about artists that they tap to create their crowns, to create their their events na designs, and to create their lavish na mga setups na nagreklamo regarding payment. So we haven't heard that from Binibini. We all know that Binibini is backed by the Araneta group of companies, and we never had an issue with regards to non-payment or X deals with with these with these artists and with these suppliers and vendors. So now, I don't think that we need explanation about, is Binibining Pilipinas a dying brand? Because clearly, from what we've seen, from what they call this, what the organization is doing is being very strategic when it comes to their decisions and choices, so that when it comes to their finances, they are able to manage their finances in a healthy manner that kind of gives strength to their plans for longevity. I think Binibining Pilipinas being scaffolded by the Araneta group of companies is a smart business decision for the Aranetas and for everyone involved in the organization, because now you see why Binibining Pilipinas, regardless of whether they have the Miss Universe what do you call this, Miss Universe crown or franchise under them, they can survive. And if you are a pageant that is just making X deals left and right, and you survive and you thrive and you perhaps rely solely on that, mahirap na tawag nito, mahirap na business strategy, I would assume, yung reliant ka on X deals. Because again, nowadays, money is pretty much involved in every transaction. And if you are an artist, you are an events, sabihin natin, you're a flower arrangements you're a flower arrangement expert on, let's say, mga events, and you do X deals just for the exposure. Mabuti sana kung even if they pay you via exposure, they put your name into their social media na mga promotions. I think that would be a good deal because you're essentially you're essentially being paid in marketing value. Unlike with cash outright na transactions, you might not get the marketing the marketing push or the marketing exposure from them telling na okay, si ganito ang gumawa nung ating set design, but on your end you can promote that this is part of your work, unless there is a confidentiality agreement that hindi ka magsasalita na ikaw ang gumawa ng kanilang set design. That is understandable if it's in black and white and bayad ka. Ang importante, you are financially smart to get paid for the hard work that you do. The problem is kung X deal na nga, tapos marketing value lang yung magre-receive mo. If you don't have the outright na exposure on their social media channels, and you are being tagged and you are being acknowledged as the artist who did all of this, tapos sarili mo pang promotion and sarili mo pang kayod yung posting mo on socials, parang hindi naman yun makatarungan. I don't think that is a fair X deal na agreement. So if you are an artist and you agree with X deal na mga agreements, put it in black and white so that if in case na magkaroon ng ganitong issue on non-deliverance of agreed na mga requirements, then may habol ka. So I know that this is something na it's just happened recently, but now you can see why I was really questioning the fans who were advocating that Binibining Pilipinas is a dying brand, and regardless of the affinity of the vlogger or affinity of the one who discusses this this topic, there needs to be an external measurement that it's doing well. And one of the things that I did include in my recent social media post and blog post on how can we measure the effectivity or the success or the decline of a pageant is financial viability and longevity. on the finances side, we can all say that, well, Binibining Pilipinas is doing quite well because they are not gonna increase their prices from 500,000 last year to 1 million pesos to two of their winners, plus their increased cash prize winnings for the runners up to almost 500,000 pesos. This is something that will tell you blatantly in your face that this is a financially healthy na pageant. So, kaya nilang magtapon ng pera. And they're not just rewarding the winners, the two winners of Binibining Pilipinas with 1 million pesos each na cash prizes. Even the charity partner that Binibining Pilipinas are partnering this year are also getting 1 million pesos na donation. And mind you, if a corporate entity donates, money or tawag ito, or goods for a charity organization, you can immediately think that they can use this as a tax write-off. Kasi hindi nila pwedeng i-tax yung 1 million na yon dahil it is being put into a good use. So, the recipients who will receive the donation will not get taxed on it as well. That is from what I understand. So, correct me if I'm wrong. However, for Binibining Pilipinas and for the Araneta group of companies, that can be written off as as a tax write-off. So, hindi sila matatax doon sa 1 million na yon. So, that is something na we should all think na, okay, kung kayang magtapon ng Binibining Pilipinas ng 3 million pesos just for the cash prizes or almost 4 million pesos in terms of their cash prizes to their winners and to their charity partner, then it's safe to say that this is not a dying brand. Okay? And I don't think that any healthy financial na institution, whether it's a pageant or a business or entrepreneurship na entity, kung may mga issue of non-payments, then we kind of need to be accepting of the truth that perhaps the one that we are all looking up as, the best national pageant according to some quarters, might not be the best national pageant dahil kung ex-deal lang ang karamihan ng kanilang mga partnerships sa kanilang mga mga sponsors or ex-deal yung partnership sa kanilang ilang mga artisans that they get to work into their stage or into their trophies or into their stash or into whatever they partner with, then we might get the impression that they're not financially stable and they're probably not financially healthy as well. Okay? So, for those who are here now, biglang nagbalon tayo into like 30, 40 na mga tao ito, ng mga viewers. Let's welcome everyone dito sa ating live stream. In a little bit, I will be getting by into the standouts for the National Costume Show and the evening gown segment of the National Costume Fashion Show earlier this week. But before that, let's do a little bit more kamustahan muna with the people in the comment section. Okay? Papa Turon is here. Sabi niya, hello Jason. Now it has been publicly announced. I hope you'll have time to feature the new BPCI Execom. Any news if there would be a new national director? It's still Miss Irene Jose who's going to be the de facto national director for the organization because she's the head of the BPCI, Binibining Pilipinas Charities na organization. Okay, so I am not yet sure kung ano yung mga things that Miss Biana and Miss oh my God, I forgot her name, the newest Execom member. But I do hope that they are willing to move forward and modernize Binibining Pilipinas step by step, little bit by little bit, and continue improving the pageant and be mindful of not just only the fans' expectations and wishes, but also balance it out with the need to preserve tradition. I think there is a need to, to look at both areas so that you don't stick to tradition that you become stagnant, or you become too obsessed with improvement that you lose your sense of self, the sense of tradition that is associated with the pageant. EF Chicago, sabi niya, are the candidates being judged for swimsuit and evening gown segments like prelims? Okay, EF Chicago, I explained this previously in my blog post several years back, that when it comes to the Binibining Pilipinas events, there are segments, there are events that every candidate should be very much focused on in terms of delivering their best. And usually, these are your typical na press presentation and the national costume shows, because a lot of the people in the judging panel will be sitting there. As you now seen, there is pretty much a preliminaries or a preliminary competition equivalent rather ng Binibining Pilipinas that is broken into several segments. During the fashion show, the Dia Ali swimsuit fashion show ng Binibining Pilipinas candidates at the lagoon of the Gateway Mall, I think it was around 2 weeks back, when they were wearing all their green na Dia Ali na swimsuit for the fashion show. A lot of the people in the side table near the stage were from the executive committee ng Binibining Pilipinas, including the head honcho of the Araneta Group of Companies, Senior Jorge Araneta. And this is the event where nakapagpa-picture pa ako kay Sir Jorge. And mind you, Sir Jorge apparently is around 6'2" or 6'3" in height, or somewhere around the 6 feet na height, because kahit na matanda na siya, and he was hunching a little bit because of old age, which happens to every one of us, he still is like very, very tall. I did not expect na ganun siya katangkad. I knew for a fact that he was tall, but I did not expect that he would be probably in his youth around 6'2" or 6'3". So it was really, for me, a very special moment, because at least ngayon, masasabi ko that I have a selfie with Madam Stella, selfie with Madam Stella's brother, Arturo, and now Sir Jorge. So anyway, going back to that, to those scored events, usually in the past, the scored events would be the national costume show, the press presentation, and then the parade. Usually kasi diyan nandyan yung mga tawag ito, yung mga execom at nag-oobserba sa mga girls. And the fourth event would be the Road to the Crown. I am not sure if there will be a Road to the Crown this year, much like last year. So I am hoping that perhaps this time around, they would be able to look more at the attitudes and behavior of the girls rather than just mere intelligence, because I think that is one of the things that is being observed at Miss International. Thankfully, a lot of the girls in Binibining Pilipinas this year wala akong marinig na chismis about misbehavior. So thankfully, we're good on that. Okay, going back to the tawag ito dun sa comment ni EF Chicago, in terms of the competition, you can now see that there is a preliminary event equivalent in Binibining Pilipinas. You've seen these girls in their black swimsuits at the press presentation. You've seen the girls in their evening gown and their national costumes at the national costume show. So I think that tells you that they are equivalents ng preliminary competition in comparison to, let's say, Miss Universe, na meron silang swimsuit and evening gown competition in their preliminaries. So I think just for Binibining Pilipinas, it's just spread out. Now, Cici says, habang si Jonas nagpapabakasyon na lang sa Australia, Cici, I have no idea what's going on with Jonas Gafford. Kung nagbabakasyon siya kasi feeling niya tapos na yung mga problema niya dito sa Pilipinas, I think he is gonna come back here and would have to face yung recent na, what do you call this? Recent na allegations ni Jeff Alea. Okay? Ay nako, Papa Turon, hindi ko na, I'm not gonna touch that. Yung comment mo, okay? Baka mamaya, dumami na naman yung mga yung mga paid trolls nung ni influencer wannabe. Okay? Nasaan na tayo? Okay, Papa Turon says, to be fair kay Michael Florendo, si Luis Porteles nga yung unang nagsabi na BBP is dying, sinakyan na lang ng MUPH Fanase. With all due respect din with Luis has a very sharp na intellect. I admire him for that. But when it comes to the intricacies of the behind-the-scenes workings of the national pageants here in the Philippines, he doesn't probably have as much of an investment or connections with what's going on behind the scenes. With regards to MWPH and MEPH na sabi niya mas interesting, that is his opinion. And we should respect him for that on my end, because I have people who have worked behind the scenes na mga kaibigan, friends, who are telling me about some of the systemic problems within pageant organizations that for confidentiality reasons and for legal reasons I cannot divulge to everyone. I know that in terms of financial health, di hamak that Binibining Pilipinas is top of their game. In fact, probably they are the ones that kinakailangan ligawan ng mga franchise, international pageant franchise, because they're the ones who have the actual na financial capacity to survive for probably the next 10 years and more. They have been very much a institution that has not only been very mindful of the relationships that they have with their international franchises, but they are also very much of a business acumen. They have a very much a sharp business acumen to be able to drive finances into the organization's back. Now, you're probably gonna ask me, how is that possible, Sir Jason? Binibining Pilipinas is losing more and more mga international franchises. They even start losing sponsors. Here's the thing. If you haven't noticed, Binibining Pilipinas, all of their activities is in Gateway, in Araneta City, in New Frontier Theater, the Araneta Coliseum, or peripheral areas within the Araneta City complex where fans can go in and experience, the hype around the Binibinis. And if you work on retail, you know that there are two types of rental agreements with the landlord. In this case, the landlord is the Araneta Group of Companies, the arm of the Araneta Group of Companies that handles real estate. Okay, so they are the landlord. Each of the tenants would have to pay rent with the landlord depending on two figures. One is a fixed amount, a monthly fixed amount, where, let's say, for this square foot na store, you will have a rent of 500,000 pesos, sabihin natin, on a monthly basis. Because let's say you are a fast food na tawag ito na business. So mataas ang renta mo dahil expected na kumikita ka because of yung food establishment that you have. Now, there is another level, another part of the agreement that if if ang monthly sales mo is higher in terms of the calculated na rent per square foot, the landlord can charge rent based on that figure. So, ibig sabihin, if let's say, based on calculated na figures on your sales for this month, you would have, let's say, a rent that is around 800,000 pesos. So almost a million yung yung isang figure. You would have to pay the higher amount. So there are two things na you have to take into consideration. Kapag hindi mo, kung mababa ang sahod, mababa ang benta mo for this for a certain month, they will default to the agreed na monthly rental mo based on the contract. But if your sales for the month is high, and the calculation for the rent per the sales per square foot na calculation ang mas mataas, dun sila magbe-base ng renta mo dun sa mas mataas na figure. How is that now affected by the Binibining Pilipinas activities? Every time that there is a Binibining Pilipinas activity around the mall, there is buzz around them. Dumadami ang tao, dinudumog ang Araneta for the National Costume Show and the of course the Parade of Beauties later on, where the girls are going to be paraded throughout the entire vicinity of the Araneta City. How does that contribute to the finances of the Araneta Group of Companies? Of course, lahat ng mga taong nandun, after na matapos yung event, kinakailangan uminom, kinakailangan magpahinga, kinakailangan kumain, and that is where all of these establishments get foot traffic because of all of these activities. And usually, all of this foot traffic that is brought in by the Binibining Pilipinas activities, even on the days na walang major activity ang Binibining Pilipinas, the mere fact that there is an activity that's happening in Araneta City, ang mga tao pumupunta, dinudumog ang Araneta City, and they get more people, more foot traffic, more people na kumakain, umiinom, nag-Starbucks, nagha-hangout doon sa mall. And when they buy something from the tenants of the mall, essentially, they are serving their tenants to have higher sales. They have higher sales, they get higher rents. It's that simple. Ganun kasimple yung business partnership ng Binibining Pilipinas and ng Araneta City. Essentially, Binibining Pilipinas is the haute couture equivalent of the fashion industry, where the Binibining Pilipinas draws in people because it's a marketing it's a marketing thrust ng mga fashion houses na equivalent. Kasi since it's Paris Fashion Week in the next week, yung week ng 24 until the 27th, kasi it's a full 4-day na fashion shows of haute couture brands. Essentially, haute couture is there as a publicity stunt. Ang ginagawa ng haute couture shows is that it showcases all the creative na mga fashions in order for people to get enticed, to get fascinated with the clothes, so that people who cannot afford haute couture will start buying their beauty products, their perfumes, their cosmetics, their accessories, their leather goods and bags. Because right now, leather goods and bags are one of the biggest money makers, as alongside cosmetics and perfume ng mga fashion brands na ito. So if you look at Dior, if you look at haute couture brands like Chanel, all of these brands, they get much of their revenues from their leather goods accessories. That is the reason why if you look at mga feeds ng mga influencers, you would see a lot of them pushing for bags. That is why if you look at, let's say, the tawag nito, the feed of, let's say, Heart Evangelista, kapag nag-post siya nung Faubourg na Birkin, which is probably the one, especially the white one, not the black one that Jinky Pacquiao has, but the white one that the Heart Evangelista has. That is one of the rarest Birkins in the last 5-10 years na nilabas sa buong tawag ito, sa buong mundo. And to have that, you would have to pay like 22 million in Philippine peso, okay? In order to purchase that. Yung kay Jinky kasi, it's around 20 million. Yung black na Faubourg Birkin niya. But yung kay Heart, that's like 21 point something that is close to 22 million pesos. So, ganun kalaki ang, tawag ito, ang business ng leather goods. That is the same thing that Binibining Pilipinas does for the Araneta real estate. The Binibining Pilipinas pageant draws people in. Nandun yung glamour. Nandun yung, if I think Binibining Pilipinas, it is Araneta City. And therefore, if I am at Araneta City, I feel like I am also part of the Binibining Pilipinas na culture. And that is the reason why Binibining Pilipinas is a very, for me, is a very smart marketing tool ng Araneta Group of Companies because it brings people into the, tawag ito, into the real estate. Kaya, in terms of commercial viability, in terms of longevity, I think Binibining Pilipinas is on a better financial health than any other pageant because there is nothing in this world that appreciates in value than real estate. Again, I'm sure there are a lot of you that are educated, that are very much wiser than I am. I know that ang value ng real estate hindi bumababa, tumataas yan. So, you probably understand why Binibining Pilipinas is such in a good financial health because of their partnership, because it is scaffolded basically by the Araneta Group of Companies. Okay, ang haba ng sinabi ko, isa lang naman ang sinabi ni Papa Turon. Okay, let's move forward. Vanessa Danza says, good evening, Sir Jason. Good evening, Vanessa. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining us. Binanggit mo earlier doon sa social media post natin on IG na you'll be joining. Well, welcome. Okay? Waikiki says, medyo related sa NatCos pero off-topic. Nakaka-proud lang na sa male pageant internationally and locally ang manananggal at tiyanak kay Ryan Christopher. Sana mangyari rin ito sa women pageant internationally. Waikiki, we've seen naman the tikbalang na costume ni Graciela Liman in 2022. Okay. So I think with the direction ng Binibining Pilipinas this year that their costumes should be more culturally and traditionally tradition inspired. Kaya nakita natin na walang mala-float na costumes this year, walang masyadong malalaking costumes this year. So I do hope that maybe in the future we can we can do something that is as gimmicky as the tiyanak and the manananggal or the tikbalang ng mga costumes, but for Binibining Pilipinas I am not very keen on that. Okay? Nasaan na? Sabi ni Sisi, BBP na raw gusto ni Michael Ferrenda, bleeding daw ang MUP heart niya. Nasa comment ng video ni Tita Lavinia for NatCos. Nako Sisi, bahala siya. Kasi Michael has been very shady when it comes to Binibining Pilipinas for quite some time. Ayan, tama Sisi, it's Tia Rojas Ojeda. Okay? Yun din ang sinabi ni Hello the Universe. Ribo Tobias says, hello po Sir Jason, thoughts niyo po sa bibinayaran? Ayun na nga, nabanggit ko na Ribo. I think that it's just unfortunate that some of our artists allow this treatment to happen. Kung hindi kayo papayag na hindi kayo babayaran, then you're standing up for yourself. But if you allow yourself na ex-deal lang, na okay lang na hindi ka mabayaran for exposure, remember that exposure does not pay your bills. Exposure does not pay the raw materials that you use for your whatever na ini-ex-deal mo. If for example, ang ex-deal mo is ikaw ang gagawa ng corona and exposure lang yung katapat, parang kinda little bit ano siya, ang hirap din yan na pangatawanan because you have bills to pay, kinakailangan mong kumain 3 beses sa isang araw. Kung nagda-diet ka, sige, twice a day na lang. But you know, you need to be practical if you are an artist or you are an entrepreneur or you are a business person. If you provide, let's say, clothes, you provide shoes, you provide crowns, or you provide trophies, you provide set designs for this pageant, you need to remember that at the end of the day, will this relationship benefit you as much as they benefit from you? So, yun lang. Be practical naman sana sa mga artists natin na wag naman kayong papayag na ma-mistreat kayo na, oh, for exposure, your value is this much. Exposure lang. Walang value that is financially rewarding for you because as someone who worked in the fashion business, I've tried na magkaroon ng online na business for my own namesake before. It did not work because I was not as smart when it comes to, you know, business decisions, when it comes to, you know, calculation for profits, for margins, calculation for or rather thinking of safety kapag nagpapahiram ako ng mga damit ko sa mga sa mga stylist for shoots. These are things that you need to take into consideration when you are, you know, a creative in the industry and you want to be commercially viable. You want to be financially stable. Okay, magandang gabi po, sabi ni Ping. Hello, Ping. Welcome to the channel. Na-miss ka namin earlier dahil usually you're the first one to join the conversation. Wait, where are we? Okay, sabi ni Hello the Universe, ang nostalgic ng classic BBP song intro. Actually, ako din, I was quite surprised that they used the traditional na version instead of the Win Your Heart na version. But maybe it also has something to do with the SB19 na version na copyrighted siya. Kahit na, kahit na, what do you call this, kahit na gamitin ng sino. Kasi it's supposed to be that kapag nagpa-play yung Win Your Heart ng SB19, lahat kaming mga vloggers ay nagpapatay ng live stream kasi madidemonetize kami because of that song. That is why kapag it is being played at Binibining Pilipinas events, nagre-record na lang kami ng video because for some weird reason, initially it was said that the new song will be whitelisted, meaning anyone can use, but apparently yung management ng SB19 has applied for copyrights of that. So hindi it's not good for us na mga vloggers and content creators to use that song. So when narinig namin na ang ginamit nila is the old traditional na Binibining Pilipinas na theme song, of course it was nostalgic for the people who have been supporting the pageant for the longest time, but it was also a refreshing na break from the SB19 na version. Okay? Wait, nasaan na tayo? Ang daming comments. Wait. Hello the Universe, oh my God. Oh my God, the classic Arturo na taga-deliver ng Baraza na gowns, because he is the liaison officer that is based on Miami, who travels between the US and Colombia for example, the mga Baraza na gowns. Siya yung contact person ni SMA sa Miami na magta-travel usually to Colombia to pick up the gowns and bring it to Miami, bring it to the US for for our delegate to wear. Wait lang. Okay, Ribo Tobias, yes, I agree. Ang sabi kasi ni Ribo is, mas gusto ko yung camera angles ng press and swimsuit presentation kaysa sa National Costume Evening gown presentation. Sana maganda talaga ang finals night. I agree. In terms of the angles, I think mas pulido yung press presentation than the National Costume Show. Dansom says, nakakatawa, dati meron pa silang keme na party list for local artists. Narito ang Arte Kadiri. Bortang Talong says, Lokong pangalan mo, ha? I think there's a deeper reason why they chose the song Yugto. Take time to review the lyrics. Sa gitna ng kagubatan, may ahas na hahalik, tatawagin kang kaibigan na pinakamatalik. Sisi says, dahil siguro may audience kaya nahirapan sa camera positioning ng Natcos. I kinda agree because during the press presentation, it's actually just the press, the sponsors, and the Binibining Pilipinas na executive committee and the extension of the Binibining Pilipinas organization yung nandun. Included na rin doon yung mga beauty queens, past, present na yung beauty queens na dumalo during the event. And also, literally, mas maluwag yung space when there was the swimsuit na press presentation than the National Costume Show. So, I kinda agree na medyo hirap gumalaw yung mga yung mga cameraman ng AICA dahil occupied lahat ng areas nung New Frontier. Sabi ni EF Chicago, I am wondering if previous franchises that left Binibini for greener pastures are regretting their decision. I kind of think some of them regret that as well. I think that the biggest loser in this situation is probably the Miss Supranational franchise because they never had a live crowning on stage. Because even when Alethea Ambrosio was crowned the Miss Philippines last year, it was not announced that she is going to Miss Supranational during her coronation when she won. So it means that from Miss Universe Philippines in the time of Pauline to the present, they never had crowned a Miss Supranational Philippines on stage. And if your premise is that you can elevate the pageant that you are going to acquire, this is not the way to do it because they haven't elevated whether it's the Miss Philippines na fashion and beauty pageant or the Miss Universe Philippines na franchise, they haven't both elevated the Miss Supranational Philippines na title. It was not like when it was in Binibini that everyone was interested with Supranational, especially during the time of Mutya. So, I think Supranational, the organization, shot themselves on the foot when they moved from Binibini to MWP and now to the Miss Philippines and the Empire Group. I think they really didn't anticipate or expected that they will always be the ugly stepsisters to Cinderella's MUPH na franchise. I think that is the treatment. I think that is the harsh reality that, they will always have to live by. Okay, Ross Nefed says, Hi Prof. J. BBP have a soft spot in my heart. My mom used to be in the house mananahi of Inday Stella during the 60s and 70s. My mother did the red cape ng BBP, Binibining Pilipinas Universe and International. My God, the story siguro that tawag ito, your mom would say about the heydays of the Binibining Pilipinas pageant. Because I remember during the time of the 1960s, that was the years where a lot of the winners were from the Buena Familia of society in the Philippines. So kinda interested what are the stories that she has from that era. Um, Rodvin Fiel, okay, nasaan na ba tayo? Rodvin Fiel says, hi sir, present po. Thank you sa midweek pa live. Actually, I wanted to do it last night, yesterday evening. However, talagang I'm bushed. I was, kita nyo naman doon sa video that I post on my socials, on my stories, that I really was looking very haggard after running around, getting footage, getting a lot of video na footage that I will be posting on the next several days. Sunod-sunod na yung mga yan for the next week. I have a lot of not naman individual, but a lot of footage that I will be releasing. So, if you haven't noticed, for the past week, ang dami kong reels because my camera is much better suited for video footage. And that is also the reason why I partnered with Kuya Mike Zuniga. If you have photography needs, he has 2 studios, one at the south and one here in the Kamuning area. So if you need space for pasarela training, for photography, he has studios that is available for you. If you need to contact him, just leave me a comment, and I will DM you on, what do you call this, on Instagram or on Facebook, if wherever you're comfortable to contact me. Okay. Where are we? Okay. Where Lovely Scent says Loki. Loki what? Rodvin Fiel, sabi niya, regarding national costume, like you said, sir, na ang theme kumbaga for this year should be more cultural. Pero parang nag-return to form ang BBP, panay terno ulit. I am hoping that we will have more variety in the next several years. I am hoping for like the time ni Catriona Gray during the 2018, that there were Muslim-inspired costumes, there were ternos, there were Maria Claras, there was Yakan na costume naman dun sa year ni Patch Magtanong and Gazini Ganado. So I am hoping that in that what do you call this, in that era, 2018 and 2019 na era, bumalik doon yung mga national costumes ng Binibining Pilipinas. I will talk about my bets sa evening gown and the national costume in a little bit. Let's just finish the last 2 comments for now. Sabi ni Ribo Tobias, top 5 nyo. I'm not gonna discuss the top 5, Ribo. I am going to discuss my top 8 for the evening gown and for the what do you call this, and the national costume segments. Okay. Dar and the Beauty Critique, I will go to your comments in a little bit. Umpisahan na natin. Let's start with the let's start with the evening gown competition. The evening gown presentation. Sorry. Nasanay na ako kasi na Miss Universe yung preliminary. So, let's go to the evening gown presentation standouts. Now, there are 8 girls that for me were the standouts. However, if I am going to judge all the performances, all the gowns that they wore, I can immediately tell you that Lizelle Jones of Ormoc City killed the entire competition. She wore a very shapeless na tent dress. You wouldn't see the curves. But because of the chartreuse na tawag dito, na color ng kanyang gown, because of the pulled up na hair, she was by far, for me, the most elegant candidate in the evening gown presentation that night. Honestly, she was like giving me, if you remember, Valerie Weinman during the Miss World Philippines na 2014 na era, where she also wore a chartreuse na tent dress for her finals during the finals of MWPH. She gave me that kind of vibe. And it's not even a very Oksana Fedorova na Gucci, tent dress that was on my head. I was thinking this could easily be, a vintage 1950, 1960 na Charles James na evening gown. It could easily be, something that I would see at the archives of Yves Saint Laurent, or probably even Dior in the 1970s. I probably even was thinking like, this could be something that I would see on perhaps Tom Ford for Gucci in the 1995, 96, 97 na era niya for Gucci, where he was, anything that he touches turns to gold. The silk chartreuse na gown that Giselle wore was for me reminiscent of a very fashion na fashion na gown. It was not pageant patty. It was very elegant. I think that if she decides to wear this again for the finals of Binibining Pilipinas, I would not, argue. I would not think that it's a bad decision. I think that this was arguably the best gown with great performance coming from Giselle. So, with that being said, the other 7 girls that I think really did well in numerical order, okay, is Binibini number 1, Marikit Manawes, who wore a very powder blue na number, but it was actually her face na nagdala ng buong performance. If you were there at the audience, at the live na venue, makikita mo talaga lutang ang ganda ni Marikit Manawes for the entire evening. I think I was able to get a footage of her nung natapos na yung buong event. She was in a very casual na dress. It was a strap, it was a spaghetti strap dress, and hindi mo mapapansin kung ano yung suot niya kasi ang ganda talaga ng mukha. Okay? Number 11, Kim Velasco of Caloocan. The gown is very pageant patty. Gold with a lot of beadwork, cinched waist, very elongated yung kanyang evening gown. But it was actually the way that Kim was projecting, was posing, that made the entire performance, you wanna sink in your teeth into that entire performance because of that, because of the way that she delivered. There's nothing spectacular with the gown choice. In fact, I think this kind of gown we've seen multiple times on a lot of former Miss Colombias, the fully beaded fully rhinestoned na mga gowns, but because of the delicious way, the sumptuous way that Kim was, walking on stage, the way that she connects with the camera, the way that her facial expression, transitions from smiling to smizing to being sultry to being sweet. It was really just perfection for me. And then I have, oh my God, I'm not sure kung ano yung number ni Vienne, but Vienne Sherin in that electric blue na Marachua na gown was like, damn, ang liit ng bewang niya. It was so cinched that probably it was like 21 inches kapag kinuha mo yung kabuuan ng kanyang waist circumference. So sobrang liit nung bewang, and you can really see that Marachua knows how to cinch waist, because if you look at mga gowns na Marachua na ginamit ni Yana Aduana when she was in Binibining Pilipinas and during events, ang galing talaga ng the way that paano mag-cinch ng waist si Mara Chua sa mga gowns and sa mga dresses that she designed. And then, of course, I've mentioned earlier, si Lizelle, really for me, it was reminiscent pala of an Ino Soto and the Dean of Philippine Fashion. I forgot his name. The one who did the gown, the wedding dress ni Charlene when she got married. Ganung levels na Filipino couture yung naaalala ko doon sa kanyang doon sa kanyang delivery. And I do hope na for the finals ng Binibining Pilipinas, Lizelle would stay away from what do you call this? From overly blinged na mga designs. Okay? And then, I have also on my list, Binibini number 21, Jasmine Bungay, who for me, with that very non-pageant patty na evening gown by Harvey Senate, it was for me very much of a fashion gown that I would see on the runways of, let's say, New York, not New York, maybe Milan or Paris Fashion Week. I really love the orchid na color on her. It was not mature, it was not too young, but it was sultry, which contrasted very much with the very saccharine, very sweet, very very virginal na aura ni Jasmine. I do hope, however, that Jasmine has the walk and face the walk and the poses and the facial na mga transition nalinisin pa ng mas maayos, because throughout her entire presentation, Jasmine was just smiling. I want to get more, I don't know, facial expressions from her. I want to see her, trying to be sultry, because I think kaya niya yun eh. And what I like about the face of Jasmine is that she looks very alta, she looks very expensive, but at the same time, she still looks very much approachable. And I know it might be, it might be a little bit too close to the finals na, but I do hope that a lot more people would pay attention to Jasmine, because after Angelica Lopez, I think we should be sending another mestiza girl at Miss International this year. And with a lot of gorgeous mestiza girls in Binibining Pilipinas this year, I think Jasmine is one of those girls na easy pick for the Miss International Philippines na title. Okay? And then we have also another mestiza, but more like mestiza chinita beauty, and that is Trisha Martinez, who for me was giving Jessica Rabbit in that red, fiery red number. And the moment na ibinagsak niya yung shawl niya, and it apparently is not a shawl but a skirt extension at the back of the dress, it was like, okay, Trisha came in and she's not playing around this time. People who criticized her for being heavyset at the thigh and at the hip na area during the Dia Ali na fashion show in the Gateway Mall 2 weeks ago, makitaan mo siya na ang laki ng ipinayat niya, ang laki ng in-improve ng katawan niya during the press presentation. I do hope that Trisha would be able to keep maintaining a healthy na diet and lifestyle, and for her to continuously be more in fighting form come finals in the next 3 weeks, dahil maikli na yung oras before the finals. So I do hope na by this next couple of weeks, mas intensified pa yung kanyang physical training na regimen to have her at her peak fighting form. Then I also have to commend Vera Dickinson, who for me, among the Aces girls, was probably one of the best in terms of her performance during that evening. Vera was again wearing another Marachuan na design, but but the design actually reminds me of a Samantha Panlilio na gown that was photographed on her for Miss Grand Philippines several years back. I am not sure if it is the same design, but there are similarities from my vantage point. I haven't seen yet a close-up video on the gown that Vera wore, but I kind of think that this is something that is a recycled gown or the same gown that Samantha Panlilio wore for a photo shoot. And it was spectacular. It was great. Yung movement niya, walang slit yung gown, but she was very sexy. Yung delivery niyang kanyang performance. Then, the last on my list is Myrna Esquera, Binibini number 40, who for me had a great gown, but I just hated her hairstyle because mas nagmukha sana siyang pahaba if naka-ponytail siya or naka-bun, high bun yung kanyang ayos for the evening gown. The orange na gown looked great on her. It looks like she was on fire. Yung gown was on fire on her very very morena na skin tone. I just hope that the hair would have been pulled up because the neck piece or the neckline of the evening gown was covered by this so much hair. I think Myrna would have looked better in a high ponytail or in a high bun for the evening gown presentation for that night. Now, there are several other girls that for me were standouts. I would have to say, Corinne San Pedro, Binibini number 2, looked great in the low bun na tawag ito na look for her evening gown. She was for me channeling Miriam Kiambao, Carolina Indriago, Miss Venezuela 1998, who competed with Miriam in Miss Universe 1999. I also, liked yung performance ni Sam Acosta, who reminds me of Maxine Medina when she smiles. Love the gold na gown. I am just not a fan of the, what do you call this? The overly long sleeves kasi it takes away yung movement ng kanyang sleeves away from the face. Then I also like yung tawag nito, yung evening gown presentation ni Phoebe Godinez. The white gown works on her. I'm not sure with the red lip though. Also, I think that she needs a little bit more volume on top doon sa kanyang hairstyle. But overall, it was a clean presentation. Then, I also want to commend, Rendel Caraig, great styling for her evening gown presentation. It kind of remind me of Athisa's preliminary gown in Miss Universe Philippines, but in a different color. Sheni Sampang, the Binibini from Bukidnon, also was giving me, the 1997 Miss Universe Italy Denny Mendez vibes. I just hope that yung bodies, yung boned na bodies ng kanyang gown was shortened a bit because it made her torso look longer. In pageants kasi, you don't want your torso to look longer kasi magmumukha kang punggok, mas magmumukha kang maliit. What could have been done is to elongate the legs, the hip and the leg na part by shortening the torso, especially yung mga boned na tawag nito na areas ng kanyang gown. Of course, nabanggit ko na si Vienne. Another girl that I was, that captivated me was Gracel Distura na she wore a powder blue na gown. She was Binibini number, I think it was number 9 or 8. I think it's 9. And pag tinignan mo siya ng malapitan, may glitter yung kanyang hair. I did not know how she was able to do that, but kudos to her stylist. It really, translated, especially kapag makita mo siya ng malapitan. Tala Jean also was great in her hot pink na tawag ito na evening gown. She gave great face, but a little bit raw, but still full of potential. I think that a little bit more practice on the facial transition would do her well. Niklin Jutay, love yung chartreuse na pleated na overcoat niya over her gold and silver na dress. I almost forgot. Si Rowella Solis, love the performance and the projection. I was just not a fan of yung cut doon sa may hip na side, dun sa may in between the hip and the thigh na area, kasi it shortened her overall na look. I wish na yung beadwork dire-diretso para hindi masyado nakita yung cut on the tawag ito, on the thigh na area, because it looked like it was a mini skirt na dinugtungan lang ng longer skirt at the hem of the mini skirt. So I do hope na for her finals na gown, mas bongga yung flow nung buong gown for her. Okay? Now, overall, as I've said, the girls who were on my list for the evening gown standouts are Binibini Marikit Manawis, Kim Velasco, Vian Shirin Foycht. My pick for the best evening gown, Lizelle Jones for her chartreuse na number by Dennis Santos. Jasmine Bungay is also on my list. And then also Trisha Martinez and Vera Dickinson and Mirna Esguerra. Okay. However, I just want to commend because that evening napansin ko ng bonggang-bongga si Cara Villarosa in both the national costume show and in the evening gown competition. She was reminding me of an Ay Kanyalak level na ganda ng katawan, ganda ng kutis, very morena, very Filipina. The face is very, very gandang Pinay. And I think fans should start paying attention to Cara Villarosa. Okay, now let's move to the national costumes. After nitong national costumes, saka tayo magja-jump into your comments. So I do hope na tawag ito na you have more to say about the national costumes. And I do also hope that habang dumadaldal ako dito, there is a poll that is currently ongoing for our live stream, and I do hope na you have voted on that para malaman natin kung ano yung segment that you favor among the national costume show, the gown segment of the evening gown presentation, and the press presentation with the swimsuits. Okay? Now, I think for the national costumes, I need to put out a disclaimer, okay? During the end of the national costume presentation, it was announced that there are 5 binibinis who made into the judges list of best national costume. Undoubtedly, Mirna Esguerra for me should win the best in national costume based on the 5 ladies who made it into the top 5 simply because the national costume that Mirna wore is inspired by her mom, who is a basket weaver. Sadali lang. Higop lang muna ako ng kape. Now, Mirna, for me, carried that very heavy, very stiff na national costume, and I commend her for that. But when it comes to my list, I have a different criteria altogether. Okay, so hindi ako kapareha ng hinahanap ng mga judges when it comes to the list of who gets my vote for the best in national costume. Because for me, my selection is primarily based on design, on the opulence of the costume, and the wearability. Okay? When I say wearability, kaya mo ba siyang i-edit and wear it on maybe a gala or maybe a event. And yun yung what do you call this, yung criteria ko. When I say opulence, opulence of design, opulence of the ornamentation, opulence of the creativity. Kasi ang hinahanap ko is not just bago ba sa paningin. No, I'm not looking for that. I am looking for design. Is it a very good design? Is it a lavish na design? I am looking for something that makes the Filipiniana look more grandeur. Okay? So that is my criteria. Now, I want to commend 3 ladies na napansin ko in the national costume presentation. I think that their costumes were spectacular, but they were just not the costumes that I was looking for personally. I think Marikit's Panagbegang costume was great. Love the energy of her presentation. Ruela Solis in her pearl-inspired na national costume, and I love the gimmick of the bubbles coming from the pearls. And also the green terno that Vera Dickinson wore that mimicked, grass, because again, Vera delivered in terms of performance. Okay, now, my top 8. Starting at number 8, I have Cara Villarosa, which I mentioned earlier as one of the girls to look out for in the competition this year. Ang haba niya tignan. She looks very long and very lean. She has a very Filipina face. She has, a very Aikanyalak vibes to her. Na konting polish on the pasarela and a little bit more drama in her presentation. She could, easily well be a strong contender for any international competition. I love her national costume that has a lot of gold in it. It was a inspiration, or rather it was an homage to the hacienderas of Negros Occidental and the sugar canes from her province, and I really love the way that it was all put together with the payong, with the headpiece, with the very opulent na terno and the printed na bodies of her gown. Okay, at number 7 is a very out-of-the-box, unconventional na costume that is inspired by the uwak. And I am talking about Shaira Rona, Binibining number 4, who was for me a vision in that all black na ensemble with, Swarovski crystals and rhinestones bedecking her, her body during the competition, national costume presentation rather. At number 6, I have the yellow gown terno that Tala de la Cruz wore. I love the yellow na kulay na ginamit niya. It was not the very pale yellow that she wore during the official naming of the candidates during the final callbacks last February. The yellow really, did good on her. It popped her. Okay, and at number 5 is, of course, Mirna Esguerra, who I believe would probably be ending up with the best in national costume because of the basket, because of the story behind her basket weave inspired na costume. Okay, now, my top 4 na mga picks for the best national costume are personal picks because they reflect the kind of personal aesthetic that I'm looking for. So I think hindi kayo magugulat that lahat ng mga girls on my top 4 are wearing white with gold. At number 4 is, of course, Trisha Martinez with that very very Tchaikovsky Swan Lake type of national costume. It was giving me, perfection from head to toe. There were no bad angles nung kinukuhanan ko ng video si Trisha. Trisha knew how to work her angles. She was giving me very Filipina mestiza na look. But yung pagka-mestiza niya, hindi Eurasian na mestiza, but very Pinay na mestiza. Very Chinita mestiza nga ang dating niya eh. And I think she was perfection. I love the very Cher 1970s na hair with the jewels na nakalagay doon sa kanyang hair, nakadikit doon sa kanyang hair extension. Overall for me, I think Trisha is really giving her all in her second na try at Binibining. If it were up to me, I would give Trisha, a shot at the Miss International na crown. I think Trisha magandang ilagay ang kagandahan kasi ni Trisha is that she has a very good resume. And if ang ating reservations on her winning is just because of yung because of yung weight niya, ang katawan pwedeng matransform. Tandaan nyo yan. Ang pasarela pwedeng pag-aralan, pwedeng matrain. Pero yung accomplishments niya, personal accomplishments niya as a dentist, as a dental doctor, that is something that you cannot just manufacture within a year. So I think Trisha would be a great representative at Miss International. Now, my number 3 is the Fair Forget na terno ni Jasmine Bungay. The Fair Forget is in English is wrought iron, but this French na term is something that I learned when I was watching a documentary on Jean-Paul Gaultier, where he was creating a design for his haute couture show that is inspired by the French gates. And this wrought iron or fer forget na technique is something that I have not yet seen explicitly on any national costumes here in the Philippines, except probably for this one by Jasmine during the national costume show. And aaminin ko na, I was so very much like fascinated by her national costume that I forgot to record yung kanyang pasarela on my device when she was presenting her national costume. Kaya wala akong kopya, if ever. So, ganun ako ka-distracted by the beauty of her costume. And then, at number 2 is a national costume that is one of my personal biases because it's created by Eran Montoya, who is one of the more emerging names in terms of mga fashion na mga gowns and fashion na mga dresses. And I really love the way that napaka-opulent ng kanyang ginawang design for Vienne Sherin Feucht. Love the design. I think for me that kind of dress should be used for an event like the Met Gala, and kung pwedeng ang hiramin ulit at gamitin for an international competition, I would not be opposed to that. Okay? At number 1 is another gold and white na design. This time around, I believe it's from Patrick Isorena, and this is worn by Samantha Victoria Acosta. Okay. Ang kagandahan ng kanyang national costume is that it was referencing her background without being too in your face. Her family's business is rice farming, and that is their business. And kita doon sa kanyang headpiece, doon sa mga portions of her gown, doon sa bodies ng kanyang gown, odes to the palay that sustains her family. And then, when you look at the back, you have sampaguita, which is the national flower of the Philippines, embroidered at the skirt and at the bodies. And even dun sa harap ng bodies ng kanyang terno, or rather terno barong na gown, it was referencing the Sampaguita as well in very small, minute na mga touches, which from afar you would not even notice, you would not appreciate. But when you look at it up close, from a closer point of view, dun mo makikita na ang ganda pala nung mga detalye nung kanyang nung embroidery and ng beadwork ng kanyang national costume. And then pag tumalikod siya, you wouldn't see, because of the brightness of the stage, that the huge sampaguita flower at her back is actually LED lit. If you look at my ano dito, my tree here, that is the kind of warm color that is emanated by her national costume from the back. Yung tawag ito, yung yellowish warm glow ng LED light. So it was really for me my pick for the best national costume. Okay? How about you? Please do comment which one of the 40 costumes was your favorite, or were your favorite if you have more than one. Okay? Let's go muna dun sa ating poll before jumping into the comment section. I asked earlier in our poll if which of the following Binibining Pilipinas segments were your favorite. Now, currently tied at 35% each yung national costume show and yung press presentation ng mga candidates in their swimsuits. 29% of you says that it's the gown segment. So I think at this point in time, naglalaro between the national costume show that is taking up 37% na ngayon versus the press presentation in swimsuits that naglalaro yung sino yung lead. Okay? Which means that hanggang ngayon, tumatatak pa rin sa atin yung press presentation for its really very gorgeous na set, very gorgeous na backdrop, very gorgeous na stage design, coupled by the very clean na walks ng mga binibinis. Walang extra sauce, walang naging super extra in their pasarela for the swimsuit presentation. And I think I like that because hindi OA yung kanilang presentation, but rather ganda lang. I'm just gonna walk here, do my pose, do my best angles and deliver a good performance without having to go the MGI na OA na route. Okay? Now, let's go doon sa what do you call this? Let's go doon sa mga comment section niya na. Okay? Sabi ni Dar, talking about Miss Supra, sir, what can you say na sasali si Miss Puerto Rico, si Valeria Vasquez, Miss Supra 2018? I don't mind if sasali siya sa Miss Puerto Rico and she wants to have a shot at Miss Universe Puerto Rico na title, give it to her. I think Valeria only wants to end her pageant career with a pageant as big as Miss Universe. So, go ahead. The what do you call this? The danger lang here is that baka ma-Catherine Espin siya na she already had a international title on her head, but people will forget about that international title if she loses and does not win at Miss Universe Puerto Rico, much like Catherine Espin, who was Miss Earth in 2015, tama ba? Who ended up as second runner-up lang doon sa Miss Universe Ecuador this year. Beauty Critique says, listening to you, Jason, is a nice respite. And watching Binibining Pilipinas Not Cause was pure happiness. Always take care. God bless. Thank you, Beauty Critique. The compliment is very much appreciated. Love, having these kinds of intelligent conversation with everyone. I know that I'm not perfect. I don't speak with much eloquence as other, vloggers, but what I have, or rather, what I use to, to cover for my lack of, fluidity when I speak. I try to give in the content, in the insights that I give. So I do hope na over the years, I've already told everyone that when I was a kid, I had this stutter when I speak in public. I do hope that over the years, this is something that unti-unti ko siyang ma-trained out of my system. So, this is as much as a public speaking journey that I have with you guys, as much as a pageant journey as an observer on my end. Family Reyes, good evening din sa'yo. I do hope that everything is fine and dandy in your where you are right now. And I do hope na nag-i-enjoy ka dito sa ating live stream. Okay, nasaan na yung comment ni Rodvin? Wait lang. Sobrang ko na naman yata ng scroll down. Okay, sabi ni Rodvin Fiel, hello Rodvin. I agree with Ormoc's evening gown presentation. Aside from the presentation niya, she stood out kasi different, kasi di stiff yung suot niya. She looked like a Greek goddess to me. Again, I think it was perfection yung kanyang chartreuse tent na gown. Plus, it was made out of silk. And yung pagka-silk niya, alam mong mukhang mamahalin yung tela. Yung tipong nasa libo kada yarda yung yung presyo. And it also added to the fact that when you speak with Lizelle, she has a very reserved kind of manner of speaking. She's not the over-bibo, over-energetic na pageant girl. She has that reserved, very quiet na presence, and very quiet na confidence, I would say as well. When she mingles with people, I think she's not as comfortable with crowds as most other pageant girls. She said that this is her first national competition, and I think that she's doing quite well on that front. I believe that with more public speaking, more more public appearances, she will get out of her shell, and I do hope na we will see Lizelle in the winning circle of Binibining Pilipinas this year. But I am just so overwhelmed with so much beauty in this batch that I feel na even if we choose the 5 most pretty, most deserving girls, there will still be maybe another set of 5 or 10 girls that would be equally deserving of making into the winning circle for this year's batch. Ganun ka-competitive, kaganda yung batch ng Binibining Pilipinas girls this year. Okay, Vanessa Dancel, sabi niya, God bless po. May update na po ba kung a-attend sina Miss Gloria, Miss Margie, and Pia? Pati na rin yung 5 Miss International winners. I have asked that question, especially the Miss International winners ng Binibining Pilipinas, if they are going to be joining the 60th anniversary edition. There is no, the Binibining Pilipinas organization has been very mum on that. And ang sabi lang sa akin is, abangan na lang. So, it's going to be a surprise. I think that this time around, Binibining Pilipinas is keeping all their cards hidden so that kapag pasabog talaga. And with an expected over 100 beauty queens in attendance this year, I am kind of anticipating that perhaps maybe 3 of the former Miss Universe winners at least will be there. I think that maybe for the Miss International winners, there may be around 4 or 3 of them there. So I am hoping na na kahit papano may enough representatives yung mga international winners natin, especially yung mga winners natin for the current franchises, Miss International and Miss Globe. I do hope that even our Miss Intercontinental winners would also be there. Para naman, alam mo yun, we give a little bit of recognition doon sa mga Binibining Pilipinas queens that brought pride in the country. In fact, if we're going to look at the 20 plus or maybe around 18 plus na mga international title holders ni SMA under her over the years, sana mabigyan sila ng highlight in the finals. Okay? Okay. Brigitte says, did you notice that Nico Loco is 1,000 times better host than Matthias? I kind of agree with that because I think Nico Loco has been more has been more trained, I think, in public speaking, or he's just much more expressive, I believe, in terms of his hosting. Matthias, I think, is still new to to this, so there's still room for improvement for him. But I kind of agree. Nico was a better host kasi kaya niyang i-amp up yung atmosphere in the venue. Nasaan na ba tayo? Vanessa Dancel says, sana may bagong version ng Binibining Pilipinas theme song. I am not sure kasi malay mo kasi I remember during the 30th, if I'm not mistaken, or 40th anniversary ng Binibining Pilipinas, Martin Rivera sang a version of the Binibining Pilipinas theme song with an orchestra backing him up. So who knows? We might be seeing a different version this time around. Ribo Tobias, wait lang, nasaan na yung comment ni Ribo? May new version na po ba ng Binibining Pilipinas theme song sung by SB19? I am not sure kung may bago or maybe a remix of their tawag dito, their version of the song. However, I think it is more likely that SB19 will be performing their new song Ready, the one that is featuring Apple the App doon sa song, more than a new version of the Win Your Heart na song. So let's just wait and see kasi who knows, they might surprise us just like nung nag-perform sila noon sa Binibining Pilipinas that I thought that they were only gonna sing the opening song, the Binibining Pilipinas theme song dun sa opening nila. Then apparently nagkaroon pa sila ng tawag ito ng another performance with Salamat and one other song. I'm not sure if it was Gento or no, it was not Gento. It was another song ng SB19. I just can't remember which one of those. I was actually hoping na sana ang Bini din nandun para mag-perform with Pantropico, with Salamin, or even yung may song sila na parang Manila yung title. So I was kind of hoping for that as well kasi mainit din ang tawag nito, mainit din ang Bini ngayon eh. Okay, sabi ni Cici parang nasa Canada na si Miss Lara. Yes, she's now based in Canada with her family. So as I've said, doon sa limang winners ng Miss International ng Binibining Pilipinas, I'm only expecting maybe around 4 na potentially nadadalo. Okay? 5, Sir Jason. Yes, tama. It's not 5, it's actually 4. Yes, agree. It's International, Globe, the first and then second runner-up. Bazinga, tama, Sisi. Bazinga yung pinerform nila during Binibining Pilipinas during 2022. Okay? Thank you for reminding us that. Ribotobia says, actually, you, Sir Jason, and Tita Lavinia, ang pinaka-na-appreciate ko sa mga pageant vloggers. Di lang yung comment lang ng comment, nagre-research din. Thanks po sa Sashes&Scripts. Salamat, Ribotobias. We do try to, to elevate the conversation when it comes to pageantry because we we feel, I especially feel that the community, the pageant community, is more than ready and more than ripe to discuss intelligent and relevant topics in such a manner that we look at it from different perspectives. We look at the different, facets of the industry, and not just give a singular perspective on things. We need to look at it from different angles, from a businessman's point of view, from a marketing person's point of view as well, so that we are able to understand, the complexities of this industry. Because nowadays, unlike before, pageants are not just an avenue for charity. Nowadays, pageants are more of entertainment, more of a social media marketing na exercise. It's now a more of a business transaction nowadays ang pageants. We have to understand that, as well as the fact that pageants are not very one-dimensional as it was in 30 years or 40 years back, but it's more dynamic nowadays. So I do hope na I do hope na we are able to increase yung knowledge natin on the perspectives in pageantry. Okay? Dansam says, akala ko nadulas ka na, Sir Jason. Sayang naman, pero daming masasayang. Diyos ko. Agree. I am still thinking that it's going to be a top 5 kasi yun yung nakasanayan natin. But I do hope na, okay, Binibining Pilipinas, whoever is listening from Binibining Pilipinas this time around, please give us a top 16 or a top 15 at the very least. Yun po ang hinihingi namin kasi gusto namin na mabigyan ng recognition more of the girls who really gave much of their energies, a portion of their lives to the pageant, a portion of their essence as human beings into the pageant, because they really gave they really gave everything that they can give to secure a title, to give a very good fight for the title. So I just hope na a top 15 would merit these girls that they have given more than we expected from them. So kahit man lang sana yun yung rewards nila, na masabi nila na kahit papano nag top 15 ako sa Binibining Pilipinas. So I do hope na ganun yung mangyari, na mabigyan natin ng recognition yung mga girls for doing such a great job. Because again, like this year, a lot of the candidates, despite not being very popular, they don't have massive fan bases, they are giving us like tough decisions on who are we going to place at Binibining Pilipinas International or Binibining Pilipinas Globe this year. Because for me, I have like a set of girls na pwede kong ipasok as Binibining Pilipinas International who are morenas, and then there is another set of girls that I can easily put as Binibining Pilipinas International that are mestizas. So we are spoiled for choice in this year's batch when it comes to possible selection for the top title. And not to mention that we also have a lot of extra na girls na pwede nating ipasok on the Binibining Pilipinas Globe na title. So I am hoping that the least that Binibining Pilipinas can do and the people at the production can do is give more spots for the semifinalists so that they are given opportunities to really fight it out for the titles at stake. Matira ang matibay. Give them the opportunity and the space so that they are able to fight it out for the titles. If that meant that we get a top 16 instead of the previous na top 13 and top 11 lang, let's give them a top 15. Let's give them a top 16 if need be, just so that we are able to see who among these girls who would fight tooth and nail for the titles that is available at Binibining Pilipinas. Okay? Cici says, sana next year ay end of the year na ang BBP para di ganun katagal waiting ng Binibining Pilipinas International. I'm perfectly fine with a July na tawag ito na what do you call this? July na pageant schedule. I am not sure if a December Binibining Pilipinas schedule would work because we all know that the last 4 months of the year is typically reserved for the alpha pageants, Miss Universe, Miss International, Miss World, and Miss Earth. So, kung mataon na ang Miss Earth is going to be in December, kawawa naman ang Miss Earth kung sasabay siya sa Binibining Pilipinas because a lot of us na mga pageant fans would give priority over Binibining Pilipinas over Miss Earth, especially that Miss Earth is is a very niche na pageant system, and it's not going to be easy to fight for a spot in the calendar ng international competitions ang isang national na pageant. Where are we? Gloria Diaz says, they should give you a position in Binibini. Will you accept if they offered you a position of ND of Binibining Pilipinas? Again, there is Miss Irene Jose, who is, doing a marvelous job as head of the Binibining Pilipinas Charities Incorporated and Uniprom. For me, if I was given a position at Binibining Pilipinas, I would accept perhaps a consultant na position. Perhaps what I can offer with the Binibining Pilipinas organization is to create a stronger marketing campaign to really push for the visibility of the brand, not only on social media but in different platforms as well, and to create like a marketing deck for them that would help strengthen yung kanilang image and brand, especially with the more younger na Gen Z na generation. I think that is the area of the pageant community that they haven't captured yet, because I think that right now the Gen Z na mga pageant fans are more likely to support the MUPH na brand over Binibining Pilipinas, and this is where what arises yung lack of understanding nila of dynamics of pageantry, because it's easy for them to push now it's a dying brand because it's an old brand, but they don't understand the difference between an old brand and a heritage brand. Those are two different things. Binibining Pilipinas is not just an old brand, but it's a heritage brand, and because it's a heritage brand, it has a legacy. It has a strong, brand power that is associated with it. It does not need to borrow, strong positive associations from its mother brand, which is the typical na arrangement ng Miss Universe Philippines with Miss Universe. Kung tinanggal mo yung Miss Universe na part ng Miss Universe Philippines, and you're only left with the Miss Philippines na title, just look at the Miss Philippines ng Empire. It does not have the same ring, it does not have the same brand power as the Miss Universe Philippines na brand. So that is, something that I think I can offer to help with Binibining Pilipinas, is to, be more concerned, rather more focused on acquiring, the younger generation's loyalty to the brand. I would probably be more effective in that manner rather than a national director. If you are a national director, ang dami mong kinakailangang maintindihan on the marketing side, on the PR side, on the business side, and of course with managing multiple suppliers, multiple vendors, multiple national franchises, developing tawag ito, a liaison relationship with them, so that kahit nawala ka, meron kang representative that would help push your agenda with these franchises. So these are things na I think as a consultant, mas kaya kong i-offer sa kanila. Okay? Nasa na ba tayo? Wait. That some says, wow, Sir Jason, coming from the Gloria Diaz, ha 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 ha, give this man an executive committee member position. I would not be opposed to it, but I think in order for me to be effective, I need to start from the ground up. I think that is the only way for me na maintindihan ko yung organization, because there are still parts of the organizational structure for me that I am not as well informed of. These are kind of decisions that you don't take lightly. These are the kind of decisions that you really need to study. You really need to sink your teeth and get to know the nitty-gritty parts of managing a pageant. Because iba yung managing ng pageant versus managing, perhaps a retail store. I have a little bit of an idea with retail operations, having worked with several brands internationally, but I have very little idea on the day-to-day na management ng isang pageant. I would love an opportunity, but I am not sure that it would be a great idea that ilagay ako kaagad sa mataas na posisyon. I want to start learning about the organization. I want to know more about the organization. What are the needs? What are the opportunities? What are the weakness ng organization, so that I can align yung strengths ng brand, align yung strengths ng organization to cover for the weak areas, and learn more about the entire organization as a whole to give it a push on the area that needs pushing. So there. Again, as I said, I'm open to any opportunities with Binibining Pilipinas, but it is not something that I am actively seeking out. It is something that if it comes in my lap, I will be very much happy to take into that opportunity. At when it comes to it's an opportunity that comes my way, I will make sure that I am 100% the perfect person for that position. So yun yung aking motto on that. I do not want to take on a responsibility na I cannot do 100% of my best, because I live under the principle that in anything in life, whether it's relationships, whether it's professional relationships or romantic relationships, you always give more than what is expected of you. You under-promise but over-deliver, and I think that's something na that's something na any one of us would definitely be applicable on our lives. Okay? Where are we na in the comment section? Biglang nawala ang aking internet sa... Okay. Wait, where are we? Nasaan na yun? CC is asking, sino po yung isang execom na nagbigay ng bouquet sa Best in National Costume, yung former title holder din? I think that's Vida Doria, that was mentioned as one of the presenters ng bouquets during the National Costume Show. I'm not sure if siya yung umakyat or it was Liza Beroya. Okay? Nasaan na ba tayo? Dark Flames. Is Chelsea Manalo, Morena, or Mestiza? Here's the thing about the labels. Technically, if we're talking about mestiza, mestiza is essentially mixed blood. So you can be white and you can be still mestiza. You can be black and still be mestiza. You can have dark skin and still be mestiza. Essentially, because mestiza, the original meaning of the word is someone who has mixed parentage. You can have a Filipino na mother and a Spanish na tawag nito. Oh, let's recorrect that, because during the Spanish occupation of the Philippines, native Filipinos like us, we are not called Filipinos, because Filipinos is reserved for what do you call this? Reserved for Spanish na mga peoples that were born in the Philippines. They are called Filipinos. We were called Indios. So when an Indio mix with Spanish-born, Spanish blood na Filipino, that offspring that they have is called a mestizo or mestiza. But because of the connotation na kasi puti yung isang parent at isang moreno yung isang parent, pag nagkaanak sila at maputi yung usually yung kinalalabasan na anak, that person is now called a mestizo, and it became a function of skin lightness, skin whiteness, rather than heritage. So that is the etymology, or that is the origins of the term mestizo. So Chelsea Manalo, if you're going to be technical about it, she is a morena but also a mestiza, simply because mestiza means mixed blood heritage. But in terms of skin color, she's actually black, because I think her mom or dad, I'm not sure kung sino sa kanyang parents yung Afro-American. So I guess that's another history lesson for us. But whatever name that you label Chelsea Manalo, at the end of the day, she is a Filipina, and I think that is something that we can carry on in any conversation regarding Chelsea. Okay? Yung Marie Queen shoes, nako. Cici is asking, yung Marie Queen na shoes kay Jojo Bragais din po ba? I am in no position to answer that because I have no idea. May kutob ako, pero syempre ang kutob, hanggang kutob lang siya. Hindi ko mahanapan pa ng ebidensya na tama yung kutob ko. Once na meron akong ebidensya na tama yung kutob ko, ipapachichi ko yan. So, huwag kayong mag-alala. Ribo Tobias is saying, agree po sa top 15 or half top 20 for swimsuit, then top 15 or top 10 sa evening gown, to Q&A portion, and then crowning of 2 queens and 2 runners-up. I am just give me a top 15, masaya na ako. I think this is a shout out dun sa mga girls, dun sa mga binibinis who's competing year in, year out, that we give them the space, that we give them the opportunity to fight for the titles. Okay? Nasa na ba tayo? Cyril Benavides is asking, why not create a pageant for na may Filipino blood kahit na 1/8 na lang? Why not? I don't mind that. But again, I think ang hirap i-mount ng isang international competition. Even if Binibining Pilipinas and the organization is capable of mounting an international competition, mahirap yung mag-manage year in, year out. I think that is the challenge for that. But kung gugustuhin ng Binibini, why not? Kung they increase their manpower to be able to to cover more to pageant systems in 1 year, why not? Pero that's going to be a challenge. Okay? Nasa na ba tayo on our comments? Okay. I think that's it in terms of comments. Let me just check a little bit on, sorry, na sumabit yung aking isang phone. Let me just check a bit on our poll. And currently, okay, I asked earlier, which of the following Binibining Pilipinas segments is your favorite? Currently, the press presentation now has 44%, the evening gown has 39%, and the national costume show is at the last at 17%. So, I think yung inyong tawag ito, yung inyong mga sentimiento with regards to that is very well noted. I think that iba pa din yung gloss ng surprise nung tawag ito nung Binibining Pilipinas press presentation na what do you call this na event, because it really wowed us. It really gave us, you know, the what do you call this, the shock factor that we were all looking for at Binibining Pilipinas. And the press presentation essentially, you know, gave us the what do you call this, gave us the wow factor that a lot of fans are looking for in Binibining Pilipinas. Okay? Saan na ba tayo? Let's look at the comments. Okay. I think nasaan na ba yun? Nasaan na ba tayo? There's more comments here from Dansam. Sabi niya, siguro mas maganda kung parang may liaison officer per Binibining Pilipinas title. I kind of agree. It also gives importance to the relationship of these, what do you call this? Of these international pageants with the Binibining Pilipinas organization. Parang meron silang, parang main, may kanya-kanya silang point person if ever. Nasaan na yun, yung comment ni Dansam. Okay, reading ulit. Siguro mas maganda kung may parang liaison officer per Binibining Pilipinas title na pwede rin sumama sa girl during her international competition, like for example, Maureen for Miss Globe, etc. Okay? CC says, wala na yata photo exhibits ang Binibining Pilipinas this year. From what I heard, there will be an exhibit, but I'm not yet sure kung kailan yung exhibit na yon. From the chismis that I've heard is parang hindi siya yung the usual na exhibit na mangyayari. So, abangan natin yan. From ang may nabanggit sa akin na may ilaw na involved doon sa exhibit. So, we're kinda excited for that. Kasi I remember when naglabas ang Binibining Pilipinas noong 2022 ng augmented reality na glam shot na exhibit. We were all wowed with that. I think pwedeng ulit gawin ng Binibining Pilipinas something to that same vein. Okay? Okay, Dansam says, i-search nyo na lang kung sino yung CEO ng Marie Queen and his background, and that is the answer. So, there. Ayokong makisawsaw dyan. Gusto kong kayo na lang ang bahalang to take the initiative to look it up. Hello, the Universe is saying, hi sir, what can you say about the vloggers who seem intentionally ignores BBP? How sad. Do you think it will be part of their agreement with MUPH as their partner? I am not sure. And for whatever reason that they ignore Binibining Pilipinas, that's on them. Kasi who knows, in 5 years, paano kung bumalik ang Binibining, ang amor ng Miss Universe sa Binibining Pilipinas at magbalik loob sila sa Binibining Pilipinas, saan pupulitin yung mga content creators na to? Kundi sa kangkungan. 'Di ba? Parang if they don't establish a relationship with, with the Binibining Pilipinas brand. So parang lalamunin lang din nila yung pag-ignore nila sa BBP. Okay, ang tanong ni Hello the Universe is very controversial. How come Bergais sponsors other national pageants but can't BBP? Nachichi ko na rin lang naman before, sabi nila, may mga sponsors na kasama sa contract, allegedly, kasama sa contract nila is that if they chose the other pageant, hindi na sila pwedeng mag-sponsor ng another pageant. Okay? So, I'm not sure kung sino yung mga brands, mga businesses na to na ganun yung kanilang kontrata, but I've heard rumors na may mga ganun daw na mga arrangement. So, I haven't seen any contract, so I cannot say I cannot confirm the validity of this chichi. But kung may usok, kung may usok, alam niyo na may apoy. Sabi ni Sisi, sana preliminary swimsuit competition na ang tawag nila sa press presentation. I kinda agree with that, pero ang problema kasi is pag sinabi mong preliminary swimsuit competition siya, then parang ang hilaw niya naman niyang tignan kung walang evening gown competition na kasama. So, tapos saan pupulutin ang national costume? Kung saan siya ilalagay, 'di ba? Parang it kinda will follow the Miss Universe Philippines Miss Universe na way of how it is managed. So parang mawawalan ng yung identity ng Binibining Pilipinas kung gano'n ang gawin nila. Okay? So any additional na mga comments? Because right now parang that's the last comment that I've seen. Hello the Universe. I don't know if attend si Maria Isabel Lopez, kung may nagkabatian na ba sila or what not. I have no idea. So kung sumulpot siya, then good for the pageant, because everything is healing. Okay? So that's it. We've been talking for the last 2 hours na, and I am I'm thinking na medyo overtime na tayo dito sa ating live stream. So last na comment before we end up and wrap up our live stream. Sabi ni Vanessa Tansel, sana rin nandun din si Ann Colles, Maureen Montaigne para sa Miss Globe. Tapos sina Karen at Cindy para sa Miss Intercontinental. I am hoping that as well. But if they say that there will be over 100 na mga past queens ng Binibining Pilipinas who will be there, then I am expecting na at least 2 of those names na binanggit mo nandun sa finals. Okay? So, guys, thank you very much for a very long, very entertaining, and very wonderful na live stream nating ngayong gabi. Thank you very much for sticking it out with me kahit na overtime na tayo at umabot na tayong 2 oras mahigit. Thank you very much for your patronage and your support in our channel. We're still continuously growing. As I mentioned, nasa mahigit 5,000 na tayo dito sa ating channel. So I am very grateful to all of you for that. Thank you very much for your continued support. Now, as I end the poll, let's now look at the overall na numbers. 37% of you says that your favorite is the National Costume Show. 33% is saying na the press presentation ng swimsuits were your favorite. And 28% of you ang favorite is yung gown segment. So thank you very much for your poll. Before we end, please leave a thumbs up for our live stream so that everyone would be able to consume and see it later on after our live stream is ended. I do hope na by Saturday we will be having a larger discussion on MUPH versus Binibining Pilipinas for our live stream. So abangan nyo yan. I will make this conversation worth your time. So kita-kits on Saturday, and I hope everyone would have a great weekday. The remaining days of this working week for everyone, and see you on Saturday. Bye everyone, and do take care.